Ever found yourself scrolling online, maybe late at night, just completely lost in all the conflicting health advice?
Mm.
Especially, about vitamins.
Oh, definitely. It feels like every week there's a new miracle cure or a hidden danger.
Exactly. So today we're going deep into Professor Lin's recent article, Vitamin B12 Poisoning.
Hmm.
Our mission, really, is to tackle this common myth about B12 being toxic.
And more than that, it's about sharpening your critical thinking skills for navigating all that health info online. You don't need a PhD in biology for this.
Right. And it all started, Professor Lin mentions, with a friend asking about B12 poisoning, kind of after hearing buzz about vitamin B6 issues.
Yeah, just a casual question, but it highlights how these worries spread. Professor Lin decided to really dig into it.
Okay, let's get into those alarm bells then, because some of the stuff online about B12 is, well, pretty full on.
It really is. Professor Lim points out some quite sensational claims, like on Quora, there's this individual, calls himself James McKeela.
Oh, yeah. What's his story?
Well, he claims Harvard study, calls himself a medical director for over 10 years, but his claims about B12 are intense.
Raw
He
intense?
calls it a disaster formula, says it causes nerve damage, heart palpitations, even opens Pandora's box. Strong words.
Wow, Pandora's box. But what did Professor Lin think about this source? Was this Makila guy legit?
That's the thing. Professor Lin was immediately skeptical. No clear institutional link, kind of a singular online presence. It raises questions about credibility, right?
Definitely. And it wasn't just him, was it? There were other websites making scary claims.
Oh, yeah. Professor Lin found similar stuff on several, medical-related industry websites. Places like Redcliffe Labs, MedChunk, SingleCare, VineMec.
And what sort of side effects were they listing?
Pretty much a horror show. Vomiting, diarrhea, weird nerve stuff like tingling or numbness, skin problems like acne or rosacea.
Okay, that sounds bad enough.
But wait, there's more. Increased cancer risk, heart palpitations, high blood pressure, even, get this, anaphylactic shock.
Anaphylactic shock from vitamin B12. That sounds extreme. But what was Professor Lin's main issue with these lists?
This is crucial. He pointed out that none of these websites actually provided any references. No studies, no data to back up these really severe claims.
So just bald assertions, no evidence cited at all.
Exactly, just statements presented as fact, which, in science, that's a huge red flag.
Right. So when Professor Lin turned away from these websites and actually looked at the academic research, the peer-reviewed stuff, what did that show?
Well, he did find a couple of studies, like a 2020 paper in JAMA and a 2023 systematic review, that showed something interesting.
Yeah.
They found a positive correlation between higher levels of B12 in the blood and all-cause mortality, so people dying from any cause.
Whoa, okay, so higher B12, higher death rate, that sounds like it supports the scary claims.
But here's the critical thinking part Professor Lin emphasizes. Correlation is not causation.
No.
This is so important.
Explain that. What does it mean here?
It means just because two things happen together, higher B12 levels and higher mortality, doesn't mean one caused the other. You absolutely cannot just say, taking more B12 makes you die sooner.
Okay, so what else could be going on?
Well, higher B12 levels in the blood could actually be a sign or a marker of some underlying health problems, maybe liver disease or certain cancers, which are the actual cause of the increased mortality risk. The B12 itself isn't necessarily the villain.
Got it. That distinction is absolutely key for anyone trying to make sense of health news. So, did Professor Lin find any cases where B12 itself was genuinely toxic?
He scoured the PubMed medical library and found one, just a single case report from 2020.
Only one. What happened in that case?
It was a young woman, and she had severe pernicious anemia. That's a condition where your body really struggles to absorb B12 naturally.
Okay.
She was given multiple 1 milligram doses every day, totaling 12 milligram over a short period, which is, a massive amount compared to normal intake or standard supplements.
Did she have side effects?
She did. Things like acne, heart palpitations, anxiety, restlessness, and this is important, they were temporary. They completely went away after she stopped those super high doses.
So a very specific, extreme situation, not relevant for most people taking a standard supplement.
Exactly. Miles away from typical use.
So after wading through all this, the scary websites, the correlation studies, the single case report, what's the verdict from official health bodies, like the NIH, the National Institutes of Health?
Their stance is pretty clear, and it lines up with Professor Lin's findings. They state that vitamin B12 has no tolerable upper intake level,
Meaning,
meaning it's generally considered safe, even at doses much higher than the daily requirement. There isn't enough evidence of widespread harm to set a safe upper limit.
and they basically say most people get enough from food anyway.
Yep, diet is usually sufficient. Supplements are mainly for people who don't get enough through food, like some vegetarians or vegans, or those who have absorption problems, like the woman in the case report.
Okay, so wrapping this up, Professor Lin's deep dive really brings it home. There's just no solid evidence right now for a widespread risk of B12 toxicity, particularly from food sources.
Precisely. The scary headlines often lack proof.
And this whole exercise is a perfect example of why we need that critical thinking. You've got to question the source, right? Look for the actual evidence, not just alarming claims.
Absolutely. And always remember that crucial difference between correlation, things happening together, and causation, one thing actually making another happen.
It really makes you pause and think, doesn't it? What other common health facts that we hear all the time might actually be based more on, I don't know, rumor or misinterpretation than solid science? Something to chew on.
Definitely something to keep in mind next time you're scrolling.